Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is happening, my friends? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your host, Arrington Gavin. What's happening, y'all? What is happening? Look, we got a big show today. All for the full hour, we are going to be discussing the Diddy trial, start to finish, dissecting every little bit from how it started, how it has ended so far. What can possibly happen, what could be happening coming forward from here. If you haven't heard, Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty on 2 out of the 5 counts in this recent case he was in of a RICO in a federal trial. RICO, I'll explain that a little later on. There has been a huge outpour of, where's the justice? There's been a huge outpour of support. There's been some that's just said, look, something's just not right. It shouldn't even have to go to this level. And it's mixed feelings, on all sides. I can speak for myself. It's definitely, it's a lot. It's a lot. I was a kid that was a fan of Diddy, the businessman, right? Obviously, he had some bops, he had some great tunes, had great songs, but I was a fan of Diddy, the brand, right? The businessman. When I say brand, everything he touched was money, right? It was always a party, for him. He always, will celebrate him having fun with his family, dancing, all that stuff, vibing. And it brought good spirits because, look at this man, successful man who takes care of his family, who is loved so by many in the within the industry. He obviously had his enemies too. So you wanted to cheer for him, but he's always had his hand in some trouble. He's always had his hand in some trouble. And this recent case that was brought against him, really took away the cake, for me. It truly did. And so we're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it. Again, if you've been living under a rock, Sean Diddy Combs, I repeat again, Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty on 2 charges out of the 5, but those 2 charges were, somewhat the non-serious charges. The other 3 was the ones that really, really, really was like, whoa, did he just win this? And so I'll explain a little later on in the show. But once again, you are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. Thank you so much, fam, for taking 1 hour of your time to tune in to yet another great episode. Do me a favor here. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also follow us on our Substack page. We are on Substack, and we're actually going to be talking some of this aftermath of this trial case, federal trial case for Sean Diddy Combs on our Substack page. Everything is under the same name, The Arrington Gavin Show. Again, Instagram, Blue Sky, X, as well as Substack. Also, for those who are watching us right now on YouTube, please subscribe the video, share with a friend. I truly appreciate it if you can do so. We want to continue to grow our viewership numbers, our subscribers as well. We continue to grow each and every day. So I want to thank you for those who watch us on YouTube and that is subscribed to our YouTube channel. We have some great shorts as well on that channel. You can also stream us on Rumble as well as on the GOATverse TV network. You can watch us on GOATverse TV. It is an amazing independent streaming channel. You can download the app on the App Store or Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. You can catch my show along with other great programs on GOATverse TV. In addition to that, you can also listen to us, available on all ways audio. We're available on all major podcast platforms. You can also listen to the program on the radio airwaves. Shout out to our listeners in the New Orleans area, Who Dat Nation, I call them. Shout out to the New Orleans area by way of WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Also, want to shout out our listeners in the Metro Atlanta area by way of WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look, we're available on all avenues, man. So many ways you can tune into the program, and I truly appreciate it if you could support the show by tuning into the program, by sharing with a friend. Look, we're here basically just having great conversations. We're opinionated, but we also want to keep you informed on things as well, because I come across a lot of folks that are like, I did not know that. Well, now there's no excuse. If you tune into the Arrington Gavin Show, I keep you up to speed. This was what's happening in the streets of pop culture, politics, entertainment, sports, you name it. Let's see what else I got. Oh, also, y'all, do me a favor, check out our amazing website. We got a great new website that we just launched this past year. Really in the past, I'll say past few months. www.theagshow.com. www.theagshow.com. You can catch up on the most recent shows we've done. You can check out our social media through there. There's so many ways you can just all in one hub. And that's our website there. We're eventually working on some merch. We'll talk a little more about that in the future, but we are continuing to grow. If you're interested in possibly even if you're interested in wanting to partner with the program, hey, contact us through our amazing website. We are a growing show with a large base, and so yeah, we would love to do so. So as I mentioned earlier, y'all, we are going to talk all things Diddy, the whole case, the whole 9 yards for the full hour. No guests, just you and me, and we're gonna dissect this from start to finish and all the bits and pieces of this case. So again, I'm glad that you're tuning with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, but we come back, we're gonna get going with this case, with this trial. So do not go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story. Crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs. And we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up. Yeah, this that new GOATverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. As I mentioned earlier, we're talking all things that Diddy federal trial that was that made headlines and still going to be making headlines probably for the remainder of the year. Just before we get going, as I mentioned earlier, Diddy was found not guilty of RICO in the federal trial, but he was found guilty of two of the five. So he was not found guilty on sex trafficking and racketeering, but he was convicted on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. That's what the cases. So out of the 5, there was count 1, racketeering conspiracy, count 2, sex trafficking, Cassie Ventura. There was count 3, transportation of Cassie Ventura and sex workers to engage in prostitution. There was count 4, sex trafficking of Jane, and then count 5, transportation of Jane and sex workers to engage in prostitution. So that was the full case right there. Now, reactions, right? So let me read you some reactions. Let's see. Combs had been convicted of charges related to his former girlfriend's Cassie Ventura and a woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane in court. Says here, this entire criminal process started when our client's Cassie had the courage to file her civil complaint in November of 2023. So again, backtrack where really this started. Now, Cassie Ventura, former girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, I think they were together for almost a decade. She had first met him when she was 19. He was in his mid 30s, late 30s, something like that. Already a red flag in my opinion. But it was decades long of abuse. It was years of abuse that she was receiving from Sean Diddy Combs. It got worse because here's the thing. She filed her civil complaint, which means looking for the funds. Civil complaint in November of 2023. Her attorney, Douglas Wigdor, said in a statement to News Nation, although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, when folks always hear civil trial, it's always mixed reviews. I feel like that's a society thing. When we start off with the Me Too movement, it was always mixed responses, mainly mixed responses from the men's side to almost like battle of the sexes. Women's side said one thing, guys said the other thing. Folks will always say, well, why didn't it take this victim so long, right? Why do they have to wait? Oh, it's civil. Oh, they just want some money. That's the mindset that goes on in different conversations, right? And it's disgusting because a victim is a victim at the end of the day. A victim is a victim. And yes, you are innocent until proven guilty. But if there's proof that there was abuse and the victim is telling the truth, then boom, that person's guilty right there. So in the civil complaint, what really was like a back and forth, I want to say when Cassie came out with the allegations, I want to say like maybe 3 days. I could be blanking. Blanking on the actual amount of days when a settlement was met, but I want to say it was no more than 3 days after that complaint was brought out. A settlement was made. I want to say of possibly 15 million to 20, and that was settled. Boom. But you know how I always say, when you settle, in my opinion, that's telling me that you're guilty. If you were a true innocent, if you were a true innocent person, fight for your innocence. Don't just settle and say, "Well, I'll just have them shut up. Let me just pay." No, a guilty person does that, in my opinion. So he settled. She gets payout. You think it's it's pushed under the rug, but then a videotape comes out much later on. A videotape comes out and it shows then girlfriend of Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, Cassie is down walking down the hallway of a hotel, and they probably had the whole floor reserved, for them. And you could tell she's sneaking off in a hoodie with her bag. And who do you see? You see coming running damn near naked in a towel, holding his towel, is Sean Diddy Combs. He races down the hall, grabs her, but I mean, just it's disgusting. We've all seen the clip. It is a true act of just pure evil, in my opinion. Cowardly, because I guarantee you he would not do that. If that was a man, if that was someone his own size. He purposely bullied this girl, abused her. The video says it all. Beats her, and then drags her back to the room. That's proof right there. He was extremely abusive. Okay. He then goes on. He then goes on his social media, explains what he did and how he's so he regrets that X, Y, and Z. Okay, that right there is said. Now, I'm gonna be quoting some more from her attorney, Cassie's attorney. Wigder added that Ventura left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. Now, within the entertainment industry, Diddy is an extremely powerful individual. Now, we always talk about abuse of power. There's so many folks in our society now, in our world, that there's folks at the higher ups that abuse their power. They get away with this stuff. Why? Because they have all the power. Everybody's scared of them, right? Money, power, fame. People's like, "Oh, you're not gonna believe that person. How can you even trust that person?" This and any other. And that's how it was. No one really knew who Cassie was. She was a model. She was a up and coming singer. Everybody knew her as Diddy's girlfriend. That's what everybody always knew of her, and that's how it was. He then went on her attorney then went on to say, "We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussions. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of the survivors." Now, Combs family applauded the courtroom after the verdict. Now, Dawn Richards' attorney, Diddy, quoted, "Diddy is a violent bully." Now, Lisa Bloom, her and her mother, they're known for representing a lot of victims within the Me Too movement. Victims in this case, this is like their bread and butter cases. She represented the former Danica Kane member, Dawn Richard, who served as a government witness, told News Nation the verdict was a shocking outcome against a violent bully. "I will only work harder for the two Diddy accusers I represent with different civil charges against him." Okay, going back to the civil charges. Let's see. Another person, a partner at Bloom firm, had said, "We are certainly disappointed that the government could not prove their primary claims beyond a reasonable doubt. While this is the end of the criminal case against for the government, this is just the beginning for our clients in the civil cases." Again, going back to civil, which are different than the criminal cases. "We intend to fight for injustice against the violent individual, and will not back down." Let's see here. Tamara Holder, a Chicago-based women's rights and sexual abuse attorney, she told News Nation that the Mann Act is the weakest count He took the girlfriends across state lines, hence a federal charge. Sentencing is going to be interesting. He can be sentenced to up to 10 years, but this was a major loss for the prosecution. So he may get a deferred sentence if the sentencing guidelines allow for it. Epic loss for the government. Just want to kind of backtrack what the Mann Act is. The Mann Act is an anti-sex trafficking law that prohibits taking anyone across state lines for illegal sexual activity. 50 Cent, the ultimate troll, in my opinion, throughout this whole entire case since day one. 50 Cent has been posting throughout Combs' trial on social media. He shared on Instagram a smiley AI image of himself with the caption reads, Diddy beat the feds, that boy a bad man, beat the Rico, and he shows clapping hands. Why are you trying to be relevant, 50? Like, really, what is your motive? What is your motive, truly? Aubrey O'Day says Diddy's verdict makes her physically ill. Singer Aubrey O'Day, a former member of Danity Kane, there we go. Danity Kane reacted to the Combs verdict on Instagram. I believe she was the last interview she had. She said she was probably gonna move out the country if, depending on the outcome, because she's scared for her life. Sean Combs' attorney, which I would share more from their quotes. Cassie, Kesha. I'm sorry, Kesha. The singer Kesha said, Cassie, I believe you. She posted that on social media. Rosie O'Donnell had blasted the verdict saying, I guess a jury just never wants to believe that a woman stays because of power. And chorus, wow, they just think women stay because what? Money? Fame? They love the abuse? What an effing joke. The decision got me angry. That's former comedian, actress, and former View co-host Rosie O'Donnell. Trying to see any other. So that was from some celebrities right there. Now let me go ahead and share this soundbite because Diddy did have a support system outside. Remember I spoke about a while back. Folks were selling T-shirts saying free Diddy, or he's innocent, blase blase blase. Let me see if I can find the soundbite of folks out there that was in support of Diddy celebrating of the outcome. First of all, just hear this and I'll explain. For those who are watching, you can see it, but for those who are listening, I'll explain it after the clip.
I told y'all this together. Who gonna get it? Yes!
All right, y'all. So for those who saw that, those were folks out there literally dancing, celebrating, and you know what they were doing? They were pouring baby oil, pouring freaking baby oil on their bodies, celebrating the within their eyes a victory for Sean Diddy Combs. Again, a true sickening and disgusting act, and it shows the stupidity that exists in this world, in my opinion, because it was a lot. But once again, you're talking about a man who, in my opinion, career is still down the crap hole. I mean, is he there is no comeback story for Diddy after all of this. And this is a man who made so much success. Look, in 2022, he was one of the wealthiest musical artists with an estimate of $1 billion net worth wise in 2022. You can imagine what kind of money he had now. Now let me go ahead and start from the beginning on how this. So I've already mentioned about the allegations of Cassie. Now that was in November of 2024. Now it was November of 2024. Now March. Let me see. Is this correct? So this was reported by the Washington Post. March of 2024. Homeland Security agents searched. Okay, so hold on. This probably was after. I think they got the years mixed up. Hold on, real quick, because one says. Let's see here. Okay, November of 2023. Okay, so Cassie's allegation was November of 2023, not 2024. Let me correct myself on that. Okay, in March of 2024, Homeland Security agents searched Diddy's home in Miami and Los Angeles and New York, recovering drugs, weapons, and check this out, over 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil. 1,000. That right there was like, why does dude okay need 1,000 bottles of what, baby oil? What are we doing here? Now there was always rumors in the industry of how extravagant Diddy's parties were. He was a big partier. I mean, come on. He created a vodka brand called Ciroc vodka. Out of all the liquors in the world, why would a black man want to have vodka? In my opinion, the nastiest stuff that ever existed. He was a partier. So that right there to me was like, okay, this man it's a bit odd, but it was never drugs is one thing. Weapons is a lot. Right there in there, drugs, weapons, obviously that can lead to some suspicions and possibly a crime, because I'm pretty sure there's a certain amount I think you can have, especially what kind of drugs you're using and how many weapons you had on site. But the 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil, all that showed was like, okay, this man like to get a little nasty. That right there that's not a crime to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. It's weird as hell, but it wasn't a crime. Now moving forward, September 16th of 2024, federal indictment in New York City. 5 charges brought up: racketeering under the RICO, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, and 3 counts of transportation of prostitution. Okay, now we all witnessed the feds raid, Homeland Security agents, feds raided those 2 homes, those homes that they just mentioned. Now on TV, they had shared 2 homes. They showed 2 homes, LA and Florida. And it was extremely sad because you saw some of his children that was in cuffs that was on the side while they were raiding it. It was all across the news outlets. Diddy was nowhere to be found at the time. That they ended up finding him at an airport. Again, it's like off of a movie. I can't make this stuff up. Diddy was eventually arrested and jailed in Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center. Bailed repeatedly denied, citing concern over witness intimidation. Again, you're talking about a very powerful man who has his hands and was involved in a lot of powerful things. I mean, let's just be real. He was a very powerful individual. Okay, the trial alone begins in May of 2025. Got opening statements, high state confrontation. Government says this was a criminal enterprise. The defendants frame it as a private toxic relationship. Okay. Now key evidence, surveillance video showed, I mentioned the video that happened in 2016 between him and his ex-girlfriend, who was then girlfriend at the time, Cassie Ventura. Testimonies of hotel damage, hush payments, okay, non-disclosure agreements, $100,000 to erase the videotape, and then obviously the $20 million settlement. This was all during the information when Cassie brought out that case in 2023. Now, Cassie eventually she went on to testify on the stand over 4 days, pregnant, detailing coercion, manipulation, and sex parties she felt compelled to attend. The former member of the group, another ex of Diddy went under the name Jane, echoes Ventura's claims, dependence, coercion, black eyes, and emotional pressure tied to housing. Former assistant under the name Mia alleges both sexual and physical assaults, describing long stretches of fear and feeling trapped. Let's see. Hotel and security personnel confirmed destructions of cameras, large quantities of lubricants, and evidence of organized freak off sessions. Again, abuse is a crime, in my opinion, right? Domestic violence is a crime. The coercion is very serious because you're forcing somebody against their will. And I go back to the organized freak offs. I mean, I'm no attorney, but it's like what occurs. It's all about what occurs in this in during these parties. Now, jurors viewed 20 minutes of footage capturing behaviors from the freak offs secretly behind screens. Reactions were telling. Now the closing arguments. Prosecution emphasizes criminal enterprise, violent coercion, threat-based control, and exploitation involving staff who set up sex parties. Now, his defense, by the way, let me go back on his defense. Let me backtrack his defense, by the way. Because this man, most folks are saying he had the Dream Team 2.0. So if you don't remember the Dream Team back in the day for during the OJ Simpson trial, he had a dream team. Don't get me quoting the names. I know Johnny Cochran was one. Was it Rob Kardashian was one of them? There was a few other guys. He had a dream team, a multi-million-dollar team of folks. Matter of fact, I have a few sound bites of some of his what his attorneys had shared. Let me see if I can find one. Here's one. Okay, this is Sean Diddy Combs' defense attorney, Tenny Garagos. Let me share her response after the verdict. Give me a second here.
I first want to thank my client, Sean Combs, for trusting us, myself and everybody here, this incredible dream team that he put together. Without him, we would not have been able to do this. He is incredible. I want to thank the jury for putting such great care into this case. They came early every single day. And I want to thank them, as I said in my opening, standing between all of us and the drastic consequences of the criminal convictions of sex trafficking. And RICO is a jury of our peers. And I thank them. I want to thank the judge. And I want to thank, despite the terrible conditions at the MDC, I want to thank the good people who worked there, who ensured that we had sufficient amount of time to prepare for trial. It is extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case in the conditions at the MDC, and they did everything they could to make that happen. I want to thank them. I also have been saying this since the beginning of this case. Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look and analyze these and see whether or not these are actually going to stand up in a court of law, because today they did not. He has not sexually assaulted anybody, certainly hasn't sex trafficked anybody, and the jury found that today. Thank you.
Right then and there, y'all. Right then and there, you see you hear from a female representing a man in the worst of the worst when it comes to sexual assault cases, and she's even leading the team of all men. Come on now, that's right there a winning strategy already. You hear this woman defend her client. Let me go over the names. I have another statement that I want to share with you, another soundbite from one of his defense attorneys. So you have the team of Mark Agnifilo, a veteran criminal defense lawyer. He's the lead counsel of the Diddy and has experience, lead counsel for Diddy, and has experience with high profile cases, including those involving Keith Raniere, Roger Ng, Dominique Strauss Kahn, and Martin. I don't even know these. I'm not aware of those names. The next attorney he had up there was Tenny Garagos, the founding partner of Agnifillo's firm. She specializes in defending clients in cases involving sexual misconduct allegations. She's also known for her legal commentary on social media. Next up, you have Alexandria Shapiro. She has a background as a trial lawyer and previously clerked for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Her expertise lies in appeals, white collar defense, and civil litigations. Next up, you have Brian Steele. He joined Diddy's team in April and is known for representing rapper Young Thug in the lengthy criminal trial. So he's been the guy they've been showing a lot on social media, saying, "Hey, this guy beat the Rico twice in a year." So obviously he's gonna come to fame even more. Another person, Xavier Donaldson, a New York-based criminal defense attorney. He was added to the team shortly before the trial began. He is a former assistant district attorney for the Bronx County. Next up, you have Ana Estevano, a partner at Harris Tarzakoma, I believe. She is also a partner of Diddy's defense team. Again, there's two more names. Jason Jascroll, an associate at Shapiro's. Aroda Botch, he joined the defense team as one of the junior members, and then Anthony Rico, one of Diddy's attorneys, who withdrew from the case before the trial began. So he had a heavy hitting squad. Okay. A lot of folks are saying, okay, was this the case of let's bring a powerful black entrepreneur down? That's what folks are saying too. Folks like singer and reality star Ray J, who in my opinion is just doing this stuff for clickbait and free publicity, because he's for some odd reason News Nation takes his ass seriously uh as a serious person to communicate with. News Nation is a growing channel, so they're doing stuff for ratings. But you see Ray J pull up in a suit acting all strict and firm, like, so here's the thing. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I can't take Ray J serious because, again, he comes from the reality side. He literally created a streaming channel to have nothing but trashy reality TV shows. I'm sorry, but I can't take him seriously. He was the first person. He was really the only public figure, really, to publicly defend Diddy, saying how innocent he is, saying, hey, he's coming home, this and that. Like, he was really strong for Diddy. And he could be on something. Like I said, he could be on something from there. But folks, again, they're bringing up, hey, was this an example of, hey, you have a powerful black man, and he thinks he's loved, he thinks he's untouchable, and now let's make an example out of him, yada yada. I will say this, y'all, that is not the case in this case at all. At all. Me personally, do I think justice will serve? I think that what he did to those victims, what they're saying, I'm not saying, I don't think they are telling a lie at all. Now, the part that sucks is you have to go based on what does the law see? What does the jury see in their eyes, right? Do they see somebody being coerced? Do they do they see somebody um do they see somebody being coerced and whatnot, yada yada yada? Like here's the thing. So let me bring this up. So boom, count one, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. That's what he was found. Count two, sex trafficking by forced fraud or coercion, not guilty. Count three, transportation to engage in prostitution, found guilty, found guilty. Count four, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, not guilty, not guilty. And then count five, transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. So majority of the statements that was being made were saying, hey, they were forced this, they were forced that, and guess what? A jury found him not guilty because they're like saying, well, what way were you forced? There were text messages that showed Cassie in communication of somewhat knowingly you know, participating in these freak offs and stuff like that. So it's sad, but it's just like because you know who's really who is the victim in that case, right? It's just from their eyes. I'm just saying it's really hard. You know, I pray for safety. I pray for those victims because what they've gone through, it was most likely true. Again, the proof shows how abusive he was. You see it in the videotape. You saw it in the videotape. Let me give you another soundbite from one of his defense attorneys. This was, let me see here. This was the head, Mark Agnifilo. Let me go ahead and play this for you. Give me 1 second, y'all, as I pull up that for you. And how am I looking with time? Thank you so much for staying with us. By the way, you are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. We're talking all things the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Found guilty on 2 counts of the 5 that was brought against him. But let me go ahead and play this other soundbite. This is from his lead defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo.
It's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the sex trafficking, which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict of our jury. So today's a great day. Today is a win. Today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs and our legal team. Today's a great.
So, as he mentioned, today or the day of that trial, he has said it is a victory. You hear me? A victory. There's sketches because they don't allow cameras in the courtrooms, like they did with the OJ case. There are sketches showing that Diddy was on his knees, praying in his chair, literally on the floor. Family out there partying, having a great time, dancing. There was so many responses. Let me go ahead and I pulled up this soundbite from let's see, from this is TV judge, Judge Mathis, he weighs in on the case. Let's see what the judge had to say about that. Let me go and pull this up for you.
By now, you know that Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted of interstate transportation of prostitutes, two counts, and has been denied bail. Although I really am concerned about the assaults against the women, particularly disrespecting Black women as such, we must go with what he has been convicted of and respect the jury. And as I had predicted, he should be convicted after hearing and closing arguments of only the two counts of interstate transportation of prostitutes. We'll see in the future. Listen to us this next week on the Mathis verdict, as we'll talk about the entire case and the sentencing. The sentencing guideline for a first-time offender is 21 months to 27 months for each count. We'll see whether they're consecutive, whether they're concurrent, or if he deviates from that first-time offender assessment or sentence, if you will. Stay tuned.
All right, so that was from the judge. Thank you, Judge. Thank you. So, okay, so let me go ahead here and all righty. So let me go ahead and describe some of the. Okay, so for one, key takeaways: partial acquittal. Now he escapes the racketeering and sex trafficking, but convicted on prostitution counts. Immense evidence, nuanced verdict. Video, testimony, labor of staff didn't sway racketeering, but did convict on transportation charges. The freak off culture spotlighted. So as I mentioned earlier, there is no comeback for Sean D. Combs. Majority of this, what you got out was how freaky this man liked to get in the freak offs and stuff that most people on the table probably, you know what, this stuff probably does go on in the world of the rich and famous. Okay, you see so many movies and clips and this and that and the other. There's conspiracies that's always being brought out to the atmosphere. The power dynamics and coercion blurred. Defense cited consent. Prosecutions argued exploitation masked in glamour. The celebrity impact on justice. The defense citing celebrity as a factor in shaping relationships. Prosecutions painted it as a mechanism for control. And then sentencing. Convictions carried up to 10 years per count. Okay, 10 years per count. Now, the judge has already said there will be no. He denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. I think they tried to put out, like, say, what can you give us, like a $1 million bail? Again, you're talking to a guy that's damn near a billionaire. 1 million is Trump change for him. Prosecution may challenge acquittals, pursue retrial or racketeering. That still could go on. There's still ongoing civil suits over 70. You hear me? 70 over 70 other lawsuits for alleged victims remains in process. For the remainder of his life, Diddy might be going to courtrooms for the rest of his life. 70, y'all, 70. Now the impact on the culture. That's one thing that we brought up, was the impact on the culture. I've heard other public figures share this on different programs. I truly do think this is a huge dent in the culture. Why? Because you have to look what Diddy brought to music alone. Music alone. Okay. Let me see. Let me just kind of backtrack here real quick because I'm looking at my time here. Diddy's an American rapper, record producer, record executive, and he worked as a talent director at Uptown Records before finding his own record label, Bad Boy Records, in 1993. Developed many artists like Mary J. Blige, Usher, The Notorious B.I.G., Justin Bieber, just to name a few. As I mentioned, he was his accolades: 3 Grammy Awards, 2 BET Awards, 2 MTV Video Music Awards. all again, everything he's touched turned to gold. He started a digital television channel that is still in existence, Revolt, which is now Revolt News, Revolt TV. I tune into Revolt. He started a highly successful liquor brand called Ciroc. He had Sean John, the clothing line. Um, in '98, he won menswear designer of the year from the Council of Fashion Designer in America in '04. A very successful, powerful individual, all from a black man. That was a huge, huge honor in the culture. He's brought in countless of artists that we love to this day. I just named a few earlier. So yes, it is a huge dent in the culture. Now, he had been in trouble before, right? He had legal issues. I mean, all the way from 97, 99. I'm not gonna name them all. He's had his trouble with the law, but they've never been crimes brought up to this stature on this level. Okay, I guess you can kind of go back. I think 99 was a pretty serious one. Um, let's see here. Uh, uh, a prosecutor that incited. Wait, that incite incident was sparked by an argument at a club between Combs and other patron after police investigation. Yada yada. It was again. It was a shots or gunfire had occurred at a club that he was in attendance. So, there had been cases in the past, but it is a hindrance on the culture. Again, I mentioned what he did for music alone, then boom to fashion, then the other stuff. His brand alone, I mean, making the band, his reality TV shows, he really changed the way, right, in entertainment. Um, so yes, there will be a huge. I think this will be a bigger impact than, R. Kelly going to. R. Kelly was an amazing artist, an amazing songwriter. Diddy was different. Diddy was totally different as far as status wise, in my opinion. Um, now let me see here. Uh, it obviously raised deeper questions around celebrity privilege, which I mean has always been the case when it comes to high profile figures in cases like this, consent to cohesive relationships, and power abuse in the Me Too era. All right. That is so much stuff that is occurring from there. As they mentioned earlier, each case he could face up, there's 10 years on each count. So that's 20 years in total. Could he face 10 years? Could he face the max? We would never know. We would never know. Um, I think a lot of folks would like to see that because it's like, okay, once again, where's the justice? Where is the justice? But he was not found guilty on the series. So because like right here, count one racketeering, uh, 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 count one racketeering conspiracy, that alone would he could face up to, let me see here, 20 years. 20 years just off of that one. All right. And then, of course, the higher it goes, the more years it adds on to it. Now, let me see here. Let me go ahead and share some of the ignorance I see. I'm looking at my time here. I got just but a few minutes. Let me see if I can pull up. We had a gentleman saying, did he supporter hands out shirts saying, what does it say? It says Frico is not Rico. Frico is not Rico. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Frico is not Rico. Disgusting t-shirt, absolutely. But does he have a point? We live in a world where people have a preference of what turns them on. All right. To some, it can be extremely sick. To others, it can be like, hey, look, they just like to. That's how they get off. That's how they get off. So again, this supporter out there in representing or supporting Diddy said, Frico is not Rico. Now, I think that also describes what's accepted in society. Because like why is that certain lifestyle? Why is that accepted? You know what I mean? Why is that okay? Certain things is if that's his, drug of choice, right? Stuff can continue to get more and more and more serious, and what will that eventually lead to? You know what I mean? It's just it's extremely it's weird. It's weird in my opinion. Lastly, let me go ahead and share what this reporter from ABC News had shared. Let's see, ABC News legal contributor shared before we end the show. Give me 2 seconds, y'all, because we're coming to a close in the next few minutes. But let me go ahead and share this for you.
Your thoughts on what this means for the victims.
For the victims, I think this is a slap in the face for the victims. I think this is going to deter victims from coming forward and telling their story and being the voice for the voiceless in the sense of representing other victims that are not willing to come forward. I know that for a fact, I'm sure that the prosecution right now is very upset with this verdict because they definitely put a lot of time into this prosecution, into this investigation. And they also did a lot of comforting of trying to give strength to these women, to Jane and to Cassie, to come forward, to show their face, to share their story. And this is not just like any other regular domestic violence case or just any type of abuse case. You're dealing that they were stepping forward to speak against a music mogul, a person who had the key to New York City, one of the most powerful people in the industry. So just think of how scared they were to come forward and to tell their story and scared of what could happen once they came forward. Because I'm sure with social media and people talking in the news that they have received a lot of threats and people commenting about who they are and what they've done and that they are liars, but they and they alone know what happened to them. And they had prosecutors that believed in them and believed their story and became their voice.
So you heard it right there. That was from a legal contributor for ABC News sharing her opinion on just on this whole thing in general. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot to impact. But you know what? We will continue to share any new news occurring in this case involving Sean Diddy Combs. Again, this is one for the record books. I don't think we'll ever forget. It will. There's already countless documentaries being shared about just his life, how it got added up to to where it's at currently. So this is not going to be the last we hear about this, but I just want to say this before I close it. No man should ever lay his hands on a woman. Okay, point blank, period. No man should ever lay his hands on a woman. That is wrong. If you witness that, y'all should do something. Man or women, or call authorities. Y'all, that needs to be stopped and put an end to it, like, immediately. All right, y'all. As always, thank you so much for staying with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to tune in weeknights, available on all digital streaming platforms as well as on the radio airways. Peace and blessings. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.